Follow Me is a powerful modeling tool that allows you to generate a diversity of forms. Starting with a simple example, I'll draw an arc on the edge of this box. I'll start at some arbitrary point and set the arc endpoint over here. Incidentally, this is an interesting inference. It doesn't have a label other than on edge, but it turns magenta right here to indicate that we're equidistant from the corner. Now I'll set the curvature of the arc right here so that it's tangent to the edge. Activate the Follow Me tool by pressing F if you're using my shortcuts. We don't want to select this face, we want to select this tiny face in between the arc and the corner. Notice that the pointer of this cursor is at the end of this red arc, or at the tip of that red arrow. I'll click here and start moving along this edge, and SketchUp identifies this red edge as the path. I can even turn the corner and continue following along here. I'll click right at this endpoint to complete the operation, and we've smoothed off the edges of this box. Note that it's not completely smoothed in all dimensions, as we still have a corner in plan. Let's undo and try this again. This time, I'll select the shape and trace out a path that goes around the entire circuit along the top. Now here we have a problem. SketchUp got confused at this point and it starts going down the arc. I don't want to go down the arc. I want to go right over here to the end. So I'm going to undo. A better way to approach this problem is to pre-select the path. I'll click on these edges while holding down the Shift key to build up a selection. This edge is broken here because of the existence of the arc, so I need to also select this little short edge. Then I'll activate the Follow Me tool by pressing F, and I'll click on the shape. An even faster way to accomplish this is as follows. Select the top face. That tells SketchUp to select all of these edges automatically, because faces are defined by their edges. Then I can activate Follow Me and click on the shape, and it will sweep its way all the way around. Follow Me can do more than sweep out paths. It can also lathe shapes around a circle. Let's look at another example. Here we have two shapes representing an architectural urn. One is solid and one is hollow. The hollow one will generate many more polygons, so you'd only want to do this if you planned on looking into the object. Now that we have the shapes, we need to define a path. I'll use the Circle tool and draw a circle right here on the ground plane. I'll set the number of segments at 32, so it's very smooth. We can either select this path or this face, which automatically selects the path. Either way you go, you can pre-select the path, press F, and then click on the shape. SketchUp will think for a moment as it generates this lathed object. I'll undo and try this again. This time, I'll make a circle with fewer segments. I'll draw the circle, and then I'll type in 8S to make it an octagon. This will generate a far more efficient object. I'll pre-select the path, press F, and click on the shape. Now we have an urn that still looks round because of softening and smoothing, and it has far fewer polygons. Let's experiment with this other profile. I'll move it over so we have a little more room, and then create a polygon centered right here. Now I don't want it to be in this plane, so I'm going to hold down Shift to lock the axis along the ground plane. Then I'll create a polygon with 6 sides. I'll pre-select the path, press F, and click on the shape. It generates an object that has 6-part symmetry, and we get these seam lines along the edges because of the fact that we used a polygon rather than a circle.